Good evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo visits site of collapsed Mokwa-Jeba Bridge, says road will be motorable in a fortnight. Residents of Suleja in Niger State count their losses from the floods that left at least 10 people dead and rendered many others homeless. Supreme Court upholds Godwin Obaseki's election as governor of Edo State as arch-rival Ize Yamu accepts defeat in good faith. And Iraqi Prime Minister formally declares victory over Islamic State in Mosul.
On business news tonight, United Nations Industrial Development Organization unveils new plan to support entrepreneurial skills for Nigerian universities.
While on sports news, Rafael Nadal crashes out of the Wimbledon Championships in an epic 5-set thriller that lasted over 4 hours. From Abuja, Niger Delta leaders advocate presidential commission to investigate reports of alleged killings of Nigerians in Bakassi.
We begin tonight with the visits of the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to the site of the collapsed bridge connecting northern Nigeria to other parts of the country along Mokwa-Jeba Road. The acting president was accompanied by the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, says the federal government is fully committed to ending difficulties on the road by addressing the remote causes of the deterioration. According to him, the road will become motorable in a fortnight, while the construction of the new bridge would soon commence. The bridge at Gidamai village collapsed about a month ago due to heavy rainfall, restricting movement, vehicular movement that is, from northern Nigeria down to the south.
I don't think there's any need to emphasize the importance of this axis of roads, especially the Tabu Bridge and this Tekina Mokwa-Jeba road. It's an absolutely important road from the point of view of movement of goods and services, and in particular, as you pointed out, petrol tankers and all that. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, why the Honourable Minister is here, because we think that this just has to be done as expeditiously as possible. And we have assurances from the contractor. As a matter of fact, we've had a fairly long conversation with him, looked at all the logistics. There's some difficulty with moving materials from Jeba here because he needs to bring stones and other materials here. There's some difficulty with that on account of the fact that the bridge collapsed. So that is slowing down things, but we expect that very, very shortly. We're hoping that this, at least it should become passable. The alternative road should become passable in another fortnight or so. We're hoping that will be done. And we've also tried to see how, with the help of the FRSC, better movement of goods and materials, I beg your pardon, can come here for work here. So we're looking at that possibility as well, and looking at all various options of bringing the materials as quickly as possible here. And I think that everyone is committed, everyone is committed to making sure it happens. As you see, the FRSC is here, the police, there's adequate security, the contractor is fully mobilized, ready to go. So I think that we shouldn't have any difficulty with ensuring that the work is done within a fortnight.
Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo. Meanwhile, victims of Sunday's early morning downpour that killed at least 10 people in Suleja local government area of Niger State are still counting their losses as the Deputy Governor of the state visits the affected communities. The incident, which occurred at Banki Ku and Chachania communities in the state, is said to be the worst so far in the history of the communities. Property worth millions of naira have been destroyed and some houses submerged.
Sunday, the 9th of July 2017, can best be described as a black Sunday for some residents of Suleja local government area of Niger State, following the heavy downpour that claimed a dozen lives, with several houses swept away. Worst hit is the family of Saadu Abubakar, who lost his entire family of 6 children and 2 wives to the flood. He narrates his experience in Hausa.
Ina da mata biyu, yaro 6. Muka zo mun ka tsaya nan ruwan sai ya roshe. Ko da ya roshe sai tare da ƴaƴan nan ina rike da yaro guda 2 a hannuna shine ruwan sai suka ja mu lokaci guda suka janye ni. Ko da naje can ruwan sun ka karfi na suka hizge yaron shine ni ma na tsince kaina ina cikin ruwa dai kacar ni fita.
Some other victims also narrate their experiences on the effect of the flood.
It was yesterday night at around 1:32 a.m. So some of my neighbors, they came, they said the rain has carried their house, so I opened the door and then gave them clothes to change and all the rest. So we were here till around 7:30 a.m. before the rain came and then into my own place.
So we ran out. Only for us saw water flowing inside. We were all confused. We just ran out.
After an on-the-spot assessment of the situation, the Deputy Governor of the state and the Chairman of the Suleja local government appealed to residents to avoid building on floodplains.
From what we observe here, I think the waterway has been blocked. There are some certain structures people build on the waterways. We see a lot of big trees and the dropping of refuse.
We've been on the ground since yesterday morning till evening, and we have started providing some little relief materials to the victims.
Although the Nigerian Hydrological Agency had on the 13th of June 2017 predicted flooding in some coastal states, it appears the effect of the rains is still being felt on the coastal states.
From disaster caused by the rains to victory in the courts for Governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, as the Supreme Court today affirmed his election as the governor of the state. The Apex Court dismissed the appeal filed by the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Osage Izeyamu, saying the appeal lacks merit and cannot be sustained in law. A 7-man panel led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onogan, gave this unanimous judgment today. The Governorship Election Tribunal and the Appeal Court had already taken the same position.
Anxious faces at the Apex Court, they are here for the hearing and verdict in an appeal filed by Mr. Osage Izeyamu, the People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in the September 28, 2016 governorship elections, challenging the election of Governor Godwin Obaseki. At the proceedings, the parties adopted their briefs and the court adjourned for 30 minutes and returned to give a verdict. The Apex Court dismissed the appeal for lacking in merit. The court, however, did not give reasons for arriving at its verdict. Instead, it deferred to the 24th of July 2017 to give reasons why the appeal failed.
The Supreme Court has just confirmed 2 concurrent judgments or findings of the lower courts. We thank them for taking the time. You know, if you look at the period, it's very crucial. They're about going on vacation. We need to thank them for finding it convenient or stressing themselves to hear this appeal. Now, the losers know themselves. The winners know themselves. I think what is important now is to allow the people who have won to settle to good governance.
Mr. Izeyamu had approached the Apex Court following the dismissal of his appeal by the Court of Appeal. He claimed that there were manipulations in the governorship elections which brought Governor Godwin Obaseki to power. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, Governor Obaseki's biggest rival, who's also the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Izeyamu, says he has accepted his defeat at the Apex Court in good faith. Mr. Yamu, in a congratulatory message to Governor Godwin Obaseki, says the judgment of the court has brought an end to his struggle for the office of Governor of Edo State. He promised to support the governor and assured him of his goodwill. A coalition of civil society organizations and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, have identified the lack of internal democracy among political parties as a major reason for the huge number of electoral petitions recorded after general elections. The INEC and the civil society groups are therefore advocating for a deeper internal democracy among political parties.
The 2017 general elections arguably recorded the highest numbers of election petitions, with some ending at the Supreme Court as petitioners try to overturn election results. This forum in Abuja is to present a compendium of post-election petitions to the public and see what lessons can be learned from it. The convener of the forum identifies the lack of internal democracy in political parties as the reason why the 2015 general elections recorded huge number of petitions and court cases.
The 560 petitions, like I said here, has not included some of the more recent petitions from elections that have only just happened. And it does not include pre-election matters in the courts. That lack of internal democracy has meant that parties have imposed candidates, parties have not allowed the right choices of people to manifest.
After the presentation of the compendium, the representative of the INEC chairman assures that the commission will study the document as it prepares for the 2019 elections.
We will study this compendium, like I said, and we'll see what kinds of lessons we can learn from this compendium. And we hope that this is a continuous process by the Situation Room to document, these cases.
Going forward, other members of the civil society groups appeal to the National Assembly to complete all the amendments to the Electoral Act before the 2019 general elections.
I believe that the time has come for the National Assembly to conclude all alterations to the Constitution and all amendments to the Electoral Act, so that as we move into the 2019 elections, there will be the law will be settled and the Independent National Electoral Commission can plan on a law they know of.
Although election petitions are inevitable in any democracy, some in this hall argue strongly that the lessons contained in the documents presented can reduce the numbers of petitions in future elections.
After long hours of meeting behind closed doors, the governors of Nigeria's southeast and south-south states have agreed to pursue inter-regional cooperation for the economic benefits of the region. The governors also agreed to work together to realign as a people with common heritage for the socio-economic growth of the states.
Barely 1 week after the Southeast governors met, demanding restructuring and implementation of 2014 National Conference reports, they are back again, this time with their colleagues from the South-South region. One after the other, the governors of Ebonyi, Rivers, Imo, including Cross Rivers, arrive at the government house in Enugu for what they call a crucial meeting to discuss matters of common interest. They were later joined by the Deputy Governor of Anambra State and Governor of Bayelsa. As they settle in, the host governor, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, in his opening remarks, told the leaders that he's confident that the meeting will spark up inter-regional cooperation that will address developmental challenges in both regions.
I believe that this meeting will fundamentally help us to understand ourselves better, rekindle both lanes of brotherhood, strengthen old ties and cooperation, and set a common regional agenda, social, economic, and political development of our regions and the nation. After all, Canada's sense of government, the welfare and security of the people, and we are better off working together.
After the closed-door meeting, the newly appointed interim chairman reads out the resolutions of the governors.
1. To pursue inter-regional cooperation of integration for the economic benefit of the two regions. 2. To politically, underline that word, politically work together and realign as a people
that share common heritage, culture, and affinities.
The leaders are expected to meet again in August to fashion out ways to achieve their resolutions.
In part two, after the break, Bayelsa women protest against rising cases of crime, cult activities, and unwarranted killings in Yenagoa. Please stay with us.